How you doing, anglers? This is Wesley Remmer with the Peninsula Clarion, and you're watching Tight Lines, your hub for all things fish on the central Kenai Peninsula. Well, a strong late run of sockeye salmon had anglers seeing red on the Kenai during July. Now they're beginning to see silver. The silver salmon run is beginning to pick up after a sluggish start, guides and biologists told me this week. We had our limit in a little more than an hour. Cody Dutcher, a guide with widespread fishing, told me of the action Wednesday morning at the Pillars. It was really just a matter of getting your line in the water. That's a welcome report considering the king salmon season is over and late-run sockeye are petering out in many places. The silver fishing has been noticeably better, Dutcher told me, since the Alaska Department of Fish and Game closed the set net commercial season for the Kenai, Kasilof, and East Forelands on Sunday, more than a week before the scheduled August 15th closure. Dutcher recommended that anglers fish incoming tides in the lower portion of the Kenai with plugs or salmon eggs. We've been living and dying by the incoming tides, he told me. Jason Pollock, an assistant area management biologist with the Department of Fish and Game, also was optimistic for the remainder of the run. Pollock told me the department's netting program yielded 25 silvers on Tuesday, which was more than it had produced in one day all season. Reports from sport fishermen, Pollock added, also were strong Tuesday on the lower Kenai. We had some good news, he told me. This might be the start of our traditional mid-August push of silvers. Hopefully it's the beginning, and hopefully it keeps up. The daily limit for silvers is 2, and the limit for sockeye remains at 6, except on the Russian River and in fly fishing only zones of the Kenai. Anglers are only allowed to have 4 sockeye in their bag if they do keep 2 silvers. There also is a new regulation in place this season that prohibits anglers from removing silvers from the water if they plan to release them. If a fish comes out, it must be kept. Meanwhile, sockeye fishing is tapering off in the Kenai and remains slow in the Russian. Most of the large Kenai reds are nearing or have already reached their spawning grounds, Pollock told me. That's not to say the fishing is dead on the lower river, but anglers should be prepared to put in their time. Dutcher and Pollock suggested Bing's Landing or Skilac Lake for those in pursuit of a last-minute sockeye. For the Russian, Pollock described the sockeye run as slow. The season passage was 17,346 on Tuesday, compared to 15,539 at this time last year, but those numbers are considerably lower from runs of the past. In 2009, more than 45,000 sockeye had entered the Russian by this time. If there's a silver lining, it's that this week the rates have been higher than they were all season. 1,187 sockeye passed the Weir Monday, 1,195 more passed Tuesday, and those were the first 1,000 plus days since July 31st. Fish and Game conducted a survey on the river Monday and reported 26 fish on stringers with 52 anglers fishing. Pollock told me that many of the fish were bright but small, meaning they could be 4-year-olds. The run is generally comprised of 4-, 5-, and 6-year-olds, with 6- and 5-year-olds being bigger. To the south, silvers are beginning to enter the Ninilchik and Anchor Rivers, Deep Creek, and Storiski Creek. Carolyn Bunker, also with Fish and Game, said the fishing is slowly improving in all 4 bodies of water. She suggested fishing salmon roe clusters or herring, but said spinners and fly gear work as well. There also will be good clamming tides Thursday through Monday. Razor clams can be found on the sandy beaches from Kasilof to Homer and are exposed on minus tides. Little neck and butter clams can be found on a variety of beaches from Jackaloff Bay to Bear Cove. Remember, the possession limit is 80 combined clams. That's all I've got for you this week, folks. If you've got questions or comments, please email us at tightlines@peninsulaclarion.com. Best of luck fishing, and remember, the right line is a tight line.